Boomer! Boomer! One more try. Boomer. All right. That completes the IQ test. Hey, it's great to see everyone. We're thrilled to have you all here. This is one of those moments that we'll all remember, mainly because every picture that is in here is of Roger Denny. Has anybody noticed these? They're everywhere. There's no way you would not know why we're here today, and it is a truly exciting moment. I want to introduce a few of you all. I know this crowd. You all consider yourselves special guests, so I'll dispense with that part and name just a few of you. I want to begin with the Board of Regents of the University of Oklahoma. You'll hear some discussion likely today about alignment. This board is remarkable, and we have, I believe, four members of the board that are here today. I want to start by introducing, and she'll be speaking later, the chair, Anita Holloway. Vice Chair Rick Nagel. Regent Bob Ross. And Regent Rick Broad. And I just saw the heavy brass came in, State Regent Dustin Hillary. From athletics, would all of the head coaches please stand up to be recognized? It's funny, you bring in a new AD and they all show up. I want to thank the Student Athletic Advisory Committee who is here. Please stand up also to be recognized. That's right, they're all in class. There we go. After 3 days of being closed, Brian, they're now back in class, it appears. The man who is the cause of this, who needs absolutely no introduction but deserves it, please recognize Joe Castiglione. No pressure, Roger. It's not a big deal. 26 national championships, 117 conference championships, a little more than half of all of the national championships in our 135-year history were under this man's tutelage. Don't sweat that. That should be easy. Thank you, Joe C. I want to thank all the alumni friends, all of the folks that are here. Have just had a chance today for the first time. We've obviously been involved in this search process for a while, and just had the opportunity. I've heard a lot about them, but met them today for the first time, spent a little bit of time with them, and I want to recognize Roger's family that are here. His wife, Alicia, please stand to be recognized. Their twin sons, Trey and Michael. And as only parents can do, parents who have already told me a lot about Roger and things that are going to be helpful as he goes down this path, please welcome his parents, Steve and Debbie. And I just saw the University of Illinois contingent rolling in. They rolled in first class. They came in a really absurd-sized stretch limo that pulled in here. I haven't had a chance to talk to a lot of you all, but Roger has raved about you. Would all of our colleagues from Illinois please stand up to be recognized? I in no way find your presence threatening. I'd also like to recognize my wife, Ashley Harris. So there are these moments that don't come along very often. In fact, the last time was in April of '98 that we had a discussion about bringing in a new athletic director. And so this is one of those moments that I believe you remember where you were when it took place. And I think about April of '98, being on the steps of Evans Hall, and now we're here. And the question becomes, what do you do? What do you do in this effort to make sure that you're worthy of the past, that you're able to build on where you are and move forward? I knew immediately the answer for me was to draw upon all of my leadership skills and find Randall Stevenson. We looked at this, and all of us know that the landscape of athletics has fundamentally changed. It need not even be said except to level set, and that is we know everything has changed. And we know that all the expertise in the world can be very helpful, or it can actually in some ways hold you back if you're not aware of what's taking place in front of you. When we think about the importance of athletics at the University of Oklahoma, and you think about how important it is, we talk about OU DNA, and oftentimes someone, not from around here, will ask the question, why are sports so important? When you look at our strategic plan at the university, there are 5 pillars. We have one purpose: we change lives. Inside of that, there are 5 pillars that guide us forward. As we look inside of each of those, there's 26 strategies and 121 tactics, but those 5 pillars that guide us, you see athletics throughout that. You look at it in the absolute way we think about what we want for our students, which is excellence, affordability, and also the ability to connect in a way where you perform your best, where you're the best version of yourself. And the heart of excellence and connectivity is athletics. That is essential to the University of Oklahoma in all of its mission, not just athletics. When you look at our history, it has been that way from the very beginning. Last night, trying to find some way to impress you, which so far is not yet a threat, I went in and looked at Benny Owen, Owen Field out there, and the fact that he stepped out of the role as head coach at OU in the year 1926. So 100 years ago is when he stepped out of that role. The stadium is 101 years old. And Benny Owen, during a time of change, had this quote when they were trying to raise money for the football stadium, where the field is named after him. And he said, we have to either go ahead or go backwards. We can't stand still. And that became the mantra of raising money for the stadium. This idea that you cannot stand still where you are. There are 2 directions, backwards or forwards. And those words from Benny are equally true today. There is no staying where you are. The fact that we've been blue bloods for a very long time does not matter. Today needs something else. We have to earn our keep today just as they did before. Then you think about the University of Oklahoma and its place in change. And the question is, historically, have we done this? I thought it's interesting to not look back just to 1926, but also look back to 1984. 1984, you'd only have basically 1 game broadcast a year. And the University of Oklahoma sued the NCAA, OU and Georgia, in that historic case. And in that case, for the first time, it was said the NCAA violated antitrust law by holding and possessing all of the conference, all of the television rights, and that could not continue. That's 1984. So we're leading that change then. And then you look forward from that date to June of 2021. June of 2021, the Alston case, Alston versus NCAA, takes place. Most people in college athletics thought it was certain the NCAA would win that case. Anybody else watching that knew that wasn't going to be the answer. You had to purposefully be stuck in the past to think that outcome wasn't going to be what it was. This U.S. Supreme Court in 2021, it's not a divided vote, it's 9-0. And I heard very important people in athletics say comments like their gyroscope must be broken. So you draw a line in those dates and you realize that everything that happened in 1984 told us we were going to be here. And the landscape changed in June of 21, and yet many didn't react. I'm really proud of what's taken place here at the University of Oklahoma. I was only half kidding. Joe and I knew we needed additional industry expertise, someone who had seen rapid disruption. We reached out to Randall Stevenson and brought him in. We looked at how do we do things differently. And a lot of changes took place that led us to where we are right now. Jim Nagy is here, and Lindsay Nagy. I prefer Lindsay, but I like Jim. Right? We have the first pro-style general manager in the country, and that's still true, which makes no sense. It shows that if you're thinking dynamically, if you're worthy of the past, if we're worthy of our DNA, if we're worthy of our heritage, if we're worthy of the students we have and our alumni and fans, the answer is you've got to think about what is demanded today and tomorrow during this time of disruption. And so the search began. Randall reached out and got Jake Rosenberg with Tag Group. Jake, where are you? Yep, Jake shows up. Not a half-bad job. Jake did an extraordinary job, and he caused us to think deeply about what are the skills that we need right now for this moment. They're an athletic director. And we said, and the press picked up quite a bit of this idea that we were going to look at the traditional AD pool, but 3 other pools. We wanted to make sure we had the skills that meet this moment, a moment of disruption, an opportunity. And those 2 things are always true together. As we went through it, we had a number of resumes that were looked at. As we came to Rogers, I think both of our initial reaction was, this is a deputy AD. This doesn't seem out of the box at all. But when we started going through the attributes that we needed for this moment, we began to realize very quickly that the skills brought were exactly what we needed at this moment in time. The only thing that I've found that Rogers not any good at is being boastful. As I said earlier, he'd make a terrible university president. I have to drag these things out of him. I would tell you these the second we met. He started off his career as a lawyer. He was so talented they asked him to go and become a tax lawyer. If you don't know about tax lawyers, they make the most money and they think they're better than everybody else because they make the most money. He went in and he wanted to pursue athletics, and so he got involved in the law firm doing sports law for professional collegiate organizations, University of Illinois and others, doing sports law. They realized they needed tax help and that the tax lawyers didn't speak the language of athletics. So his law firm, where he became the youngest partner in this national law firm, paid for him to get his LLM, his master's in taxation. The problem is once you get one of those, they want you in the high dollar deals. They want you in private equity deals. They want you in major transactions, and he went quickly from advising to leading. And you'll hear his story from him. But he built a set of skills there that when we went through our matrix of what are the skills we're looking for, you can just listen to these skills and think about how they resonate in the environment we're in today, right? Deep work in the law firm, working through intellectual property and licensing, media rights and contracts, NIL-related structures, labor law, and collective bargaining. And be under no misinterpretation or misideas, the reality is collective bargaining is coming. He has deep understanding of capital markets and private equity, and all of us have followed the injection of those capital markets into Utah, into the Big Ten, almost at one point. These are skills you have to be able to not just navigate, because our goal is not to navigate, but to gain a competitive edge and have OU continue to build and have the dynasty for the next era. His most recent role, and he'll describe how he arrived there, Deputy AD at Illinois, and the work that's taken place is fascinating. When he made that move, he had been doing work for Illinois, was a part of hiring the head football coach, the head basketball coach. And when you look at what they've accomplished over the last several years, what's taken place at Illinois is remarkable. 19 wins the last 2 seasons for a football program that had never enjoyed that kind of success. Men's basketball conference titles, Big Ten champions, 3 of the last 5 years. He was sport administrator, which carries important significance for those that understand the industry. Sport administrator for football. And as you listen to the people that have worked with him, what you realized is he's an essential component of that success. And what's even more fascinating is the dogma that can drag you down he was unattached to. Because when you think about when he went into the operations of athletics, it was in 2021. We've already covered that in 2021, the Alston case had already come down. Everything had already tectonically moved. And so when you look at the lens he looks through the world at, he's never known anything different while operating at the college level than the environment we're in today. And how to deploy those skills that he built over his career in a way to apply them for the success of the enterprise in a new world order that is still ordering itself. And we realize that at Oklahoma, we don't want to just lead as that order forms, but we have to be at the table to shape that future. That means being at the table not just at Oklahoma, but at that conference and national table with the insights, the abilities, the talents, and hopefully the wisdom to innovate, to make the changes that every single person here right now knows has to take place and knows has not taken place. So it's a moment of profound change where you have to make sure you are thriving and to make sure that you're part of forming that future. As we went through this process, I can't tell you, we know how important this is. Had the regents more than once say, do not mess this up. So I pointed at Randall. We've gone through this process, and this is a big decision for us. And you have to have someone that doesn't just have the talent, but has the heart. You have to know what their why is, and you'll hear that from Roger in just a little. You have to understand where they come from, what they want to achieve, that there's a passion inside, and, importantly, that they know how to win. We had a fascinating conversation. We had already spoken for 3 or 4 hours, and we were on a Zoom call, and he's such a nice person with the personal humility I loathe. And I looked at him at one point, and I was like, look, we're both lawyers, but I need to know something, and I'm going to put it as athletics would put it, not as it would be framed in a legal setting. I was like, I know you have the talent. Sounds like your why is incredible. But I got to know you're a dog. That sounds crazy, but you got to know, right? When coaches look at athletes, they want to know somebody is not just talented, but there's somebody who attacks, somebody that knows how to win, wants to win, and does win. And the response I got from him was absolutely terrific. I knew it was him at that point. You look at each step in his career, he knows how to win. His why is incredible. He has a heart and soul that I believe is truly special. We talk about culture in all our programs and how much that matters, and the culture that Joe C. has built here. The culture is critical. You can get everything else right and miss that, and it will not work. I can tell you in Roger Denny, I know he's that guy. I know he's that guy. He's going to win. He's going to win the right way. He's going to put student athletes first, and we're going to be proud to deliver over the next several years on the inheritance we have taken and what we will deliver for the future. This is that moment. He is this person. Our board has been a number of interviews. We know what their standards are. We know they demand excellence. You can always tell when they say, okay, we're going to hold you accountable. And I'm like, yeah, a little higher than it should be. We have the right person. We are so thrilled, Roger, that you're here, and thank you all for being here. Now I'd like to welcome to the stage, you talk about alignment. Everyone talks about alignment in sports. In anything. Is it all connected together? Does it work? It starts at the very top. And the very top of our organization is the Board of Regents, and the chair of the Board of Regents is Anita Holloway, so please welcome her.
Well, I think Joe got our message, so I'm glad to hear it. Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you all for being here today. On behalf of the University of Oklahoma Board of Regents, we appreciate your support, your interest in our programs and our sports. And, I want to begin by acknowledging what an important moment this is for Oklahoma athletics. And I want to thank President Harris, Randall Stevenson, Jake Rosenberg, and the entire search committee for bringing us to this point today. The diligence that you all put into the efforts to identify and hire Roger are going to pay dividends to our athletic programs for years to come. This wasn't a small decision. In fact, we assumed it was probably almost as important a decision as deciding to hire you, Joe. So that's how we think about our athletic programs. So I know Sooner Nation is incredibly grateful. Joe talked about Benny Owens and his quote on looking back before you look forward. So I do want to pause just a minute and look back. And I think for the Denny family, this will be a great, I know you feel like you're drinking from a fire hose and learning all things Oklahoma and Sooners. So I think this will be a little bit helpful for you as a family to get to know Oklahoma just a little bit better. But I want to talk about the amazing tenure of our athletic director, Joe Castiglione. And I want to acknowledge his service that literally spans decades. His impact can be seen not only in the unforgettable championships that Joe has mentioned, but also our state-of-the-art facilities, such as we're standing in today. But perhaps most importantly, the culture he has built within our athletic program and the people he has shaped and mentored. And so, Roger, you're going to benefit from taking over a program that has been so well run for so long, and I think that's great to see from a starting point. Joe's led OU athletics with humility, steadiness, and a deep sense of responsibility to our student athletes, to our coaches, to our staff, and to this university as a whole. He understood that athletics is not separate from the institution. It's a reflection of it. And it's the window, we talk about this often as a board, our athletic programs are the window that a lot of people see our state through. Many have never visited Oklahoma. We often get a reputation of being a flyover state. And so our athletic programs are what sheds light into our state for so many. And I see our director of recruitment nodding his head. So one of the things that's always stood out about Joe is his commitment to doing what is right. Even when it wasn't easy or popular, he has been in the headlines, but never focused on chasing them. And I would clarify that he's been in the headlines for good things, not bad. He's been focused on building something that would last. And he is quite simply the gold standard for sportsmanship in college athletics. As Joe Harris mentioned, President Harris, under Joe's leadership, our athletic programs have reached extraordinary heights. And I mentioned at the press conference when we were announcing Joe's retirement that when Joe was announced as the Joe Castiglione was announced as the athletic director for OU Athletics, he declared, "We want to compete at the championship level in every sport every year." And we talked about how Joe has delivered on that. As Joe Harris mentioned, we've won 26 national championships and at least one national team title in each of the last 12 years, 117 conference championships. But just as importantly, our program has been defined by sportsmanship, integrity, accountability, and respect. And above all else, he's cared deeply about our student athletes, our coaches, and the people behind the programs. So Roger, no pressure, but you do have really big shoes to fill. So we expect a long tenure, lots of national championships, and a culture of winning the right way. After all, back in July, when we announced Joe's forthcoming retirement, I promised Sooner Nation that we were going to hire the next best athletic director in the country. So that's what we're doing today. So I know that transition will be very important, and transitions like this require both confidence and care. So the board approached this moment with a deep sense of stewardship, wanting to honor the foundation that Joe has built, but ensuring the future of OU athletics and that it will stay strong and principled and ready for the future. So Roger, we have great confidence in you and your leadership team moving forward. You have our full support, and we're grateful for the thoughtful, deliberate process that brought us to today. So under Roger's leadership, we expect incredible support for our coaches and our student athletes. We expect a continued reputation for being a program that operates with integrity and sportsmanship. And we expect the highest levels of athletic success in every sport. To Roger, Alicia, Trey, Steve, and Debbie, welcome to the University of Oklahoma. I can already tell you're going to fit right in and love Oklahoma, where our people are recognized for their kindness and genuineness and friendliness. And Trey and Michael, I especially want you guys to know that Sooner Magic is real, no matter what other schools may say, and I can't wait for you to experience it for the very first time. To the Illinois Athletic Department, thank you for being here today. That says volumes. And Roger, I guess I'm expecting the next big announcement will be a home and home with Illinois. Our Sooners do love to travel. So with that, I want to say thank you to everyone here today that supports OU Athletics. To our students, our coaches, our staff, our faculty, alumni, our fans, thank you for the trust you place in this institution, and thanks for being a part of this important moment. Boomer Sooner.
So one of the amazing things about this job is I get to see not just what our students do and how the university changes lives that are coming in. I still think it's amazing that 28% of our students are first generation. But you see the life-changing impact that takes place, and you see it well past the time they graduate. And with our alums, you can see in the ways they give back. And I can't tell you how often we in these roles, as leaders of a university, get to see alumni who give back in all sorts of ways. And it's humbling, and you always hear about how much their university shaped their trajectory and shaped their life. And it presents itself in a lot of ways, but I've never seen one quite like Randall Stevenson. 15 months ago, Josie and I went to Randall and said, we need your help. Can you help out? Can you assess where we are and help us understand what's taken place? And Randall came in, and a lot of folks will give their advice. They'll talk about what you should do. Randall rolled up his sleeves and got to work. Randall came in, and I'm telling you right now, there's no hyperbole to this. From the time that he started until the time Jim Nagy was hired, every week was 65 hours of work by him every single week pouring into it. One time, he's a very calm man, but one time he said, we've got to talk on Saturday, and I was like, this is not a good sign. And he called me on Saturday, and he said, Joe, we got to work on this. I'm working as hard now as I did as CEO of AT&T. I was like, fair enough, but think about what we're paying you, which is nothing. Which really isn't fair, because we've let you donate well beyond any of that. It's amazing. Since Jim's been hired, it's been at least 40 to 45 hours a week, if not more. He's poured himself into every aspect of the enterprise. We would not be where we are today across the board. We would not have had a 10-2 season in football. We would not be where we are right now without Randall Stevenson. And he gives his time in places that are noteworthy, not just 13 years as CEO of a Fortune 5 company in AT&T, but he's been on the board of everything from the PGA, Boy Scouts of America, and right now he's lead director at Walmart, which is a tiny retailer that's starting to do well. He has served in a variety of roles for us. He will continue, Roger and I have talked about this, as chair of athletics and special advisor to Roger and to me. This gives us the full complement of tools we need to navigate this landscape and help shape this landscape. I cannot tell you the debt of gratitude I owe him personally and this university owes him. Please welcome Randall Stevenson.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks, Anita. Yeah, it's been a long 15 months, but it's been a satisfying 15 months. And I've had the chance to spend a lot of time with these coaches back here and watch Brent Venables do his magic. Brent, it's been a real thrill to just work with you and be a part of what you have built and the trajectory you have that program on. My grandson, who's just this radical football fan, loves OU football, and I think he may play for you one day, Brent. But when I was headed up here I told him we're going to announce this new athletic director, he said, Pop, does that mean you're going to quit that job? I said, sorta. And he was like really, really sad, all right? He's been in Venables' office, stole Skittles out of his little tub. He still knows he can sneak in there now and steal them without Brent being in there. So it's been a real pleasure and thrill to work with everybody. I am going to, though, after 15 months, I'm going to do something. I'm going to put together my own event, and I'm going to ask Joe to come speak. But first, I'm going to speak so that I can, say everything that he wants to say first, because for 15 months, I've prepared comments, and then Joe gets up and talks, and I go, well, why did I even prepare this stuff? So I finally learned I did not prepare any comments. But I do want to just take a real brief moment before we get Roger up here and talk to you just real quickly about how we went about finding Roger, because I think it's very instructive to why we chose Roger. And the how was, you heard Joe talk about it, but stepping back and saying, what type of individual do we need going forward if we want to have the same kind of success we've had over the last 28 years? And this industry has changed radically. I've never experienced an industry changing like this, and I've been through some pretty radical industry disruptions in my lifetime, from mobile telephony, the iPhone, and streaming video. I've not seen an industry go through the pace and magnitude of change that this collegiate athletics industry has gone through. It's really freakishly unique, and it's fascinating to watch. But as you think about the next leader, you think about somebody who can come in and, listening to what Joe said, help us define the strategy for moving forward, and not just for OU, but define the strategy for the conference, and even, I would suggest to you, the industry at large. And right now we have a lot of people putting their heads around this, a lot of really smart people, and the strategy seems to be one, well, we'll go get Congress to pass legislation. And I just laugh. I mean, they're looking at a different Washington, D.C. than I'm looking at, because that is not a strategy. What is our strategy for monetizing these really unique assets we have? We have some of the best sports entertainment franchises in the United States. OU football, OU basketball, women's softball, I can go on. How are the unique ways that we monetize these assets going forward? We need somebody who can think of different ways of monetizing these, and different ways of growing these, and different ways of investing in these, and unique and different approaches. And so we were looking for somebody with a very different toolkit than what we have been perhaps used to looking for. And so, by the way, I want to thank the 12-member search committee that worked with me on doing this, because they put a lot of time into helping Jake and me formulate what does this job description look like. And if you want to see it, you can go out and look at it online. It's a very different job description than what we've talked about in the past. It's a very different toolkit than what we've used in the past. And the search committee helped us put that together, and we think we have found a candidate who brings something very, very unique to the University of Oklahoma. And this is a guy who has depth in all the legal aspects of this industry, whether it's IP licensing, whether it's media rights, private equity. You heard Joe talk about collective bargaining and labor. He's got all those toolkits, all those tools in his kit, but he also brings something else. And Josh Whitman, the AD of Illinois, who is here, man, I take my hat off to you, because you found him before he even had the sports experience, and you had the courage to bring him into Illinois, and I think it's been transformative for your organization. I expect it to be just as transformative for ours, and because what he brings is now 4 years of experience working in the world of college sports. And this is a guy, I mean, we all know really, really smart people that aren't necessarily the best operators. They don't have the courage to put their smarts to work. This is a guy, Josh has shown to all of us, has the ability to take that intelligence and put it to work in terms of tactics and operational plans and driving results. And that is really what impressed us with this guy. And so what we think we have found is we think we have found the prototype of the modern era sports executive. We think this is what it looks like going forward, and we could not be more thrilled to have found Roger and that Roger found us. Roger, I'm looking forward to working with you. Really happy to have you on board, and I'll turn it back to you or to Roger. Thank you.
It was important I came back up. It wasn't. Hey. Now it's our opportunity. Let's please welcome the 12th Athletic Director of the University of Oklahoma, Roger Denny.
Thank you. I don't know what's going to be worse, following those guys on the stage or following Joe in this job. Wow, this is incredible. Had breakfast this morning with an incredible group of our university's leaders and supporters. And there's such an energy and enthusiasm around this program. It's really incredible. And that followed a meeting with our group of head coaches. And I look around that table, and you count it up, and the head coaches at our table have 25 national championships. It's really extraordinary. And I've heard it before, a lot before this process, a lot during this process. But now I've seen it, and I feel it. There is only one Oklahoma. This place... This place is special and it's unique, and I want to be clear, that word often gets misused. I mean that in the absolute definitional sense. There's one of these. There's one Oklahoma. And so I'm so honored to have this opportunity to lead this program. Got to start with the folks that brought us here today. I'm not sure what else I can say. President Harris has said all of it to Randall's point, but thank you. Thank you to President Harris, Chair Holloway, and the entire Board of Regents for the trust you've placed in me. I'm so proud to serve as your athletics director. This is such an incredible honor. I'm so excited to join Armand and Holly and the rest of the team here. Such pros that lead this university. You guys should be so proud. To Randall, I'm so excited to work with you. Your leadership and stewardship throughout this process, it's really remarkable what you've done for this place, and we'll be forever grateful for the change you've led here. The search committee in this process was so impressive and inspiring. You know, when you're showing up to interviews and you look at the list and you've got a national championship winning head coach and a #1 pick in the draft and one of the best women's coaches that's ever done it and a guy that's won a bunch of Oscars, you can't escape the gravity of this place. It's so amazing. To Jake Rosenberg, this is easy to say because you landed on me, but he and the team at the athlete group are as good as it gets. The amount of rigor and thought that they put into this thing, I've been on both sides of a search process, and I've never seen anything like it. Bravo to you and your team, man. To Joe Castiglione. Joe C. has led this program masterfully for 3 decades. You heard all the achievements. I'm really thrilled to get to follow that. But the challenge at hand is to take the torch from Joe and to really build on the legacy of success that he's cultivated here, and I'm ready to accept that challenge and excited by it. Thank you for everything you've done for this program. I've been asked a lot over the last several days, what separates Oklahoma? I'll tell you again, there's only one Oklahoma. This is the standard bearer in college athletics. This program is defined by an unmatched expectation to compete for titles across generations. You look at it, it's 47 straight wins. It's Coach Switzer with 3 titles. Coach Stoops has #7. It's 7 Heismans. You look out there, you think of 167 straight sellouts. Coach Gasso's got 8 titles. Coach Kindler has 7 of her own. Coach Williams has 9 of them. Over this department, we've got 1,000+ All-Americans. We could go on all day, but that's the OU DNA. That's what we're talking about. And what I've learned over the last few months and weeks and days and hours is that standard of excellence isn't just in the field of play here. It's in everything we do on every corner of this campus, and it permeates this community. Every person I've met all the way through our Board of Regents here expects excellence and acts with a purpose that's totally unmistakable. That's where the Sooner magic comes from. All that success here starts with our student athletes. Our student athletes compete under incredible pressure and visibility in the Southeastern Conference. And so that puts on us the responsibility to develop them at an elite level, physically, mentally, and professionally. When our student athletes flourish, this community feels it. Every member of our staff, not just our coaches, will be committed to their success every day. It's easy in months and times of change and complexity to lose sight of our why. We can't do that here. At its core, Oklahoma athletics exists to provide opportunities for young people. Nearly every blessing in my life is attributable to my college education and my postgraduate work. I'm here to pay that forward. The educational opportunity that we'll provide to hundreds of young people every year will ultimately change generations and change communities across this nation, and we can't and won't lose sight of that. But winning matters, especially here. Our student athletes come here to win. Our supporters expect us to win. We're here to support Coach Venables and go get number 8. We're here to widen the gap between our softball and gymnastics teams and the rest of the field. We're here to get Coach Hibble back to the mountaintop. And we're here to pour some gas on the fire that Coach Baranchik has started in her program. There's one goal for every single program that we sponsor. That goal is not progress, it's not wins, it's championships. That doesn't happen in silos. Our administration has to and will match the competitive urgency that our coaches and student athletes bring onto the field and into the gym every day. And we will, I promise that. We're not here to play small. 5 years ago, I made the decision to walk away from a career that gave me achievement, recognition, and prosperity. That wasn't enough. I never felt satisfied by that. What I realized at that time was that my life needed to be about purpose and impact. And I've felt that purpose every day for the last 4.5 years. But now it's time for impact. And for us to have the impact that we should have and we will have, it's going to require us to achieve the full potential of this program. For us to fulfill that potential, we're going to have to match an incredible legacy and history of support with an underdog spirit and work ethic. It's who I am. It's the only way I know how to do it. It's how a kid from the sticks in North Carolina ends up as a partner in the fastest growing law firm in the country. It's how the deputy AD at Illinois becomes the head guy at Oklahoma. As an underdog, the path to success will require us to be obsessive about the details, take measured risk to get ahead of the curve, build better, work smarter, and be committed to execution and accountability. And when all of that fails, we can't and won't be afraid of a fight. And I promise you, we'll stay in that fight longer than anyone else. So what's next? Over these next few weeks, I'll spend a lot of time listening to our student athletes, our coaches, our staff, our fans, our supporters, our alumni. People are going to hear the words why and why not from me more times than you can count. I apologize in advance, but we're going to have to do that. But their input's going to matter, but listening is only the beginning of leadership here. Once we've taken that input and turned it into direction, we'll move forward with focus, urgency, and resolve. And we'll measure ourselves and communicate outcomes to this group and everyone else honestly along the way. I'm not going to do this alone. We need all of Sooner Nation. This moment calls for alignment and action. Progress favors the first movers, but also those that are most committed to the cause. So I invite our fans, our alumni, and our supporters to lean in with us now, because when we're united and committed, there's no ceiling on what we can achieve. And our achievement will ultimately change the lives of our student athletes, accelerate the trajectory of this incredible university, and bring growth and pride to the whole state of Oklahoma. Now's the hard part. It takes a lot of people to get someone to this moment. To everyone that's reached out over the last few days, thank you. You don't end up in a place like this without a ton of people at your back and pushing you forward. Thank you to mentors who have challenged me every step along the way to think bigger and pursue responsibility over comfort. Guys like Bob Lattenville, who have invested an extraordinary amount of time and energy into my development. I'm deeply grateful to Josh and Coach Bielema and the entire Illinois athletic staff. At a moment in my life when I needed purpose and grace and trust, they gave that to me. I love you guys. I'm so proud of what we've done together. I'm so fortunate to have my parents here. Steve and Debbie, my sister Corey's watching on TV. They've always been in my corner. It's so comforting to know wherever you go, you've got a group that's there with you with unwavering support, belief, and encouragement. It's so powerful. It's the only reason we're here. This role demands a lot. Wouldn't be possible without the support and sacrifice of my family. There's not enough I could say about Alicia. What this group at Illinois will tell you and what you guys are going to learn, she's the heart and soul of this operation. I can't wait for you to get to know her. When it comes to her family, she is all in, no questions asked. You guys get the benefit of that unconditional support, and I'm so happy for you for that. To my boys, Trey and Michael, I know you don't like to listen to your dad, but give me a minute here. I hope you're never afraid to take a risk in pursuit of something that matters to you. And when you do that, you're going to have moments of self-doubt. And when that happens, I hope you remember this moment. This moment's not the culmination, but it is proof of concept. Proof that at any point in your life, if you choose passion and purpose over convention, it's going to take you exactly where you need to be. To close this up, Oklahoma is the most respected brand in college athletics. Reputation was earned through competitive excellence, passionate support, and an incredible bond between this program, its alumni, and its fans. That bond carries a ton of responsibility, and I take that responsibility seriously. I'm so energized by what lies ahead for this program. I believe deeply in our ability to define a whole new level of success here, and I'm so grateful you all have given me the opportunity to lead that pursuit. Thank you, Boomer Sooner.
All right. You think we're done? We're not done. Just a couple more minutes. One of the things we realized is that going into the office when he arrives, there's nothing. He must have a lot of things from Illinois, but not enough things from us. So I wanted to, on behalf of the Sooner Nation, give you the first thing to have on your wall. We could not figure out what to do. At the time, I did not know your number when you competed was 14, but you are our 12th athletic director. If we would, I'd like to unveil for you, hopefully, your first wall decoration. I want to end by saying this. I know I've got a press conference in a few minutes, but when you stand up here and you see everyone in this room, it's humbling. My dad was a first-generation student. I say it all the time, and I see him in everyone when I look out, and what this institution does for individuals, for the state, for the nation, for everyone. College athletics matters. I say it often, but in a world that has become, a nation that has become so much red versus blue, the most red, white, and blue thing we do is college athletics. It brings us together. It gives us purpose. It has us cheering as individuals in a way that allows us to belong and be part of the group. The individuals in this room have all contributed to this, some in very public ways. Our head coaches, our former head coaches, you all are the face of the enterprises. But everyone in here, over so many years, has made such an impact. And it matters to people. They see what they can be. Roger Denny wouldn't be here in this position if it wasn't for that passion that brought him here. And you see it in every student that wants to belong, that doesn't know if they belong, that doesn't know what they can be, that doesn't know that they can overcome something when the chips are down. And every day there's a lesson. Every time you speak to a team, coaches, everyone else not inside of that huddle, not in that group, they hear what you have to say. And it impacts the lives of individuals, and that resounds through generations. It is an absolute honor to be a part of this. Roger, you, like all of us in this room, inherit a legacy. Our job is to be worthy of it and pass it on to this next generation. And I know, with you as our 12th athletic director, You are more than worthy to that. Alicia, boys, the entire family, you guys are now part of the OU family. And I want you to know you're not just backed up by a few of us. It's not just an administration aligned. It is a Sooner Nation behind you. Welcome to the Sooner family. Thank you.